I am making a generator deck profile. I figured go ahead and make this since I managed to get all the new cards, and I just figured I'd make a deck profile for what I currently have. And generator is honestly one of my favorite decks just because it's rank 9 spam, which back when it first came out was more of a true King of All Calamities spam. As with a good hand, you could actually summon 2 True King of All Calamities. But after it got banned, I went, I know, just rank 9 spam. There's nothing wrong with that. And with some of the new cards, it just got even better. Starting off with the monsters, I play 3 copies of Lone Fire Blossom. Lone Fire Blossom just lets you attribute one, I believe it just has to be a plant. You attribute one face-up plant monster you control to summon a plant from your deck. This is just in the deck so that you can fill the graveyard with monsters, and so you can summon one of the generator bosses that lets you search for a generator spell or trap, which is usually the stage. Then I play 3 copies of Blocker Shadow the Generator bosses. This is basically just a generator Lone Fire Blossom, where you attribute a generator you control to then special summon a generator boss monster from your deck. And then during your opponent's turn, I believe it's your opponent's turn. Yeah, during your opponent's turn, all generator monsters you control gain 1,000 attack and defense. So during your opponent's turn, this can make your 1,500 attack tokens 2,500 attack tokens. Then we also play 1 copy of Hela, Generator Boss of Doom, 1 Nidhogg, Generator Boss of Ice, and 1 Utgarda, Generator Boss of Illusion. Or my bad, Delusion, not Illusion. Hela lets you tribute a generator boss or a generator monster, target a generator in grave and special summon it in defense. Nidhogg lets you tribute a generator, or essentially, Hela lets you tribute a generator or a zombie to target a generator or zombie in your graveyard and special summon it. Nidhogg lets you tribute a generator or worm, I believe, to negate the special summon of a monster that does not start a chain. So like Nidhogg can negate contact fusions, synchro, XCs, link summons. But if your opponent would activate something like Overraptor effect to special summon a monster from grave, Nidhogg cannot negate that. Or if your opponent activates something like Polymerization or Instant Fusion. And then Utgarda contribute 2 generator monsters and or rock monsters. Target 1 card your opponent controls. Or my bad. You target 1 card on the field and banish it. And you can only use each of their effects once per turn. You can only control 1 of that card. Which, you can only use their effects once per turn. And only control 1 is a shared effect among all the generator boss monsters. With an exception to one of them, actually. I think. Nope. Even that one. Then I play 1 copy of Mardell, Generator Boss of Light. And 2 copies of Har, Generator Boss of Storms. Mardell has the effect that when it's special, or when this card is summoned, right? Yeah, when it's normal or special summoned, you can add a generator spell trap in your deck to your hand. Or you could, you can add a generator card or a plant monster from your deck to your hand. And then Har has 2 effects. Or your opponent activates a card or effect, you contribute 2 generator and or spellcaster monsters to then be able to negate the activation and destroy it. And then if your opponent adds a card from deck to hand, except during the draw phase, you can activate its effect to make them destroy, or as I think it destroys. It either destroys or sends. Let's see, where is it? Okay, yeah, makes your opponent send one monster from their hand or field to the graveyard. And if your opponent has a monster, they have to send it. And then I also play 3 copies of Vala State here of the generator bosses. Vala is one of the better ones now, just because it has the effect you can discard a generator monster from your hand, special summon this card, and then once the card is special summoned, you can special summon a generator monster from your hand or graveyard. And then the usual, you can only control 1, you can only use its effect once per turn. And then finally, for the monsters, I play 1 copy of Naglfar, Generator Boss of Fire. This card has the effect of if a Generator or Beast Warrior monster you control be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can destroy 1 other Beast Warrior or Generator you control. And then for the spells, I play 1 copy of Terraforming to search your field spell. 1 copy Generator Boss Quest. This Boss Quest lets you reveal a generator monster in your hand. Add 2 generator spell or traps with different names from each other from your deck to your hand, other than Boss Quest, and then put the reveal generator at the bottom of your deck. So usually what you'll do with this is you'll reveal a level 9, other than Vala. Add usually boss fight and boss room. And then put the reveal generator at the bottom of the you shuffle your deck, then put the generator boss at the bottom of the deck. And then for now, I'm playing 1 copy of Glorious Numbers. This should be a second boss quest. I just only have 1. But Glorious Numbers lets you target, or while I have no monsters, lets you target a number in your graveyard. Special summon it, and then you can draw 1 card. And then Glorious Numbers has the great effect if you can banish it, target an Xyz monster you control and no materials, to then take 1 card from your hand and attach it to it as material. But I would quickly replace Glorious Numbers with a second copy of Boss Quest. And then I'm also playing 2 copies of Ring of Magic Variance Force. This probably should be Pot of Avarice just because you want to be able to control the boards, and considering during each of your opponent's draw phases, your boss stage will activate. You want to make sure you have monsters in deck, but for now, I'm testing Ring Cut Magic Variance Force for 2 Chaos numbers that are in my extra deck. Then I'm also playing 3 copies of Generator Boss Stage. This card is technically the heart of the deck, as when your opponent adds a card from their deck to their hand, I believe except during damage step. Yeah. Then you can special summon a generator monster from your deck, and then if you have special summon a generator monster with this card's effect, whereas I think it's just special summon a generator monster. Yeah, if you special summon a generator monster on your opponent's turn, you can activate its effect to summon as many generator tokens as possible, which are level 4 light fairies with 1500 attack and defense. Which, the fun part of this card is that the only once per turn on it is the summoning of tokens. So if you can activate multiple stages and make your opponent draw multiple times, you can trigger multiple stages of summon boss monsters. Which, the only downside of this is that it does have to summon the boss monsters in defense. I say that because if you can summon an attack, Naglfar would be a very good one to summon, since Naglfar has 3,100 attack points. And then I play 3 copies of the, quote, God card of this deck, which is World Legacy Monstrosity. As Monstrosity has 2 effects you can use. One lets you special summon a level 9 monster from your hand, which I don't normally do unless it's Mardell, and I don't have a generator boss stage. The effect I will usually use is target a level 9 monster I control, So then special summon 2 level 9 monsters from deck that have different attributes and types from each other and the targeted monster. So what you can do with this is you can target hard generator boss with storms. Just then special summon like Naglfar and Nidhogg from deck in defense. However, they are destroyed during the end phase, but typically when this is being activated is during your turn, so that you can have more Xyz material. Then I play 1 copy of Generator Boss Room. This just makes it so that when your opponent activates a card or effect in response to your generator card, you can activate its effect, change that card to each player draws 1 card. Then I also play 3 copies of Generator Boss Fight. Boss Fight just lets you activate a Generator Boss stage from your deck or graveyard, and then your opponent draws a card. The main thing is that it activates a stage, forces your opponent to draw, which will trigger your newly activated stage. And then you can activate 1 Boss Fight per turn, and Boss Room you can only use once per turn. Then I play 3 copies of Skill Drain. This just lets you pay 1,000 life points to negate the effects of all monsters on the field. Which I did find out you can actually out the Skill Drain on your turn if you need it with one of the Generator Xyz monsters. So Skill Drain is not an issue with this deck since you can actually quite easily deal with it. Then I play 3 copies of Summon Limit. This is just to stop your opponent after you've made your board on their turn, ironically. And again, if you need to, this deck can easily out Summon Limit if it needs to. And then I also play 3 copies, so there can be only 1. The only thing that's really hurts is that if you control Vol, you can't summon any tokens or Lopter. Or if you control tokens, you can't summon Vala or Lopter. If you control Lopter, you can't summon Vala or tokens. Or if you control tokens, you can't summon Vala or Lopter. But this just makes it so they can only be 1 type. Each player can only control 1 type of monster. Or 1 of each type of monster. Almost made it be rivalry. Which, other than Vanquish Soul, I feel like there aren't very many decks that can actually play under there can be only 1. Brandon might be able to. I don't really know if they'd actually be able to because they have fairies, spellcasters, and dragons. Also a worm. But that is it for the main deck. Moving on to the extra deck, I play 3 copies of Jormungandr, Generator Boss of Eternity. This card is essentially Slifer the Sky Dragon for Generator, where you can only control 1. You can only use each of its effects once per turn, but its effect is a quick effect, or you can detach a material, so each player draws 1 card and then attaches 1 card from their hand or field to it as material. And then its attack is equal to the number of material it has times 1,000. And then my favorite card in this deck is 3 copies of number 92, Heartearth Dragon. Heartearth Dragon is in this deck just because I like it going first. Where if you have, just because it has the effect of it can't be destroyed in battle, your opponent takes any battle damage you would take from battles involving it. That if it is destroyed while it has materials, then you can special summon from the graveyard and its attack increases by 1,000 for each card that is banished when it returns to the field. So if it's destroyed and there's like 8 cards banished, it comes back with 8,000 attack. And then the other effect is during your opponent's end phase, you can detach material so that all cards on their field that were put there that turn are removed from play. So like if I'm fighting Labyrinth and they set 4 pass, during the end phase, Heartearth Dragon can detach material to banish their 4 set cards. And the only reason I'm playing 3 Heartearth Dragon is just because honestly, Heartearth Dragon is one of my favorite monsters in this deck. It might honestly be my favorite monster in this deck. And then I also play 1 copy of Chaos number 15 Gimmick Puppet Giant Hunter. Giant Hunter has the effect of once per turn you can detach a material, target one card in your opponent's field and destroy it, and then if it was a monster, inflict damage to your opponent equal to that monster's original attack. That Giant Hunter is this deck's version of what was it? Gaga Cowboy, where you can if it's in defense, you use detached material and inflict 800. Then I also play 2 copies of Phantom Fortress Interblathneer. This lets you detach material to then banish 1 card your opponent controls, 1 random card from your opponent's hand, 1 card from your opponent's graveyard, or 1 card from the top of your opponent's deck. This is mainly here just to deal with opponent board. Then I play 3 copies of Levatine, Generator Boss of Shadows. This card's actually how you can out your own skill drain, as it has the effect you can only control 1, you can only use this effect once per turn. All monsters your opponent controls lose 1,000 attack and defense. That has the quick effect if you contribute the 6D summoned card. Special summon 1 non-fairy generator Xyz monster from your extra deck, which I think implies that Konami's not done with generator support yet. But a special summon from your extra deck, and then you can attach cards from any field or graveyard to it as material. So what you can do with this is you contribute it, and then you'll be able to attribute it, and then you can take Skill Drain plus another card and attach them to your Mungander as material. So that's essentially how you can out your own Skill Drain if you need to. I honestly thought it wouldn't work, but I've been told that this card's effect is technically a grave effect. And then for the last spots, I play 1 copy of number 9 Dyson Sphere. This just has the 3 effects that once per turn, if your opponent has a monster stronger than Dyson Sphere, you can detach material to attack directly. Once during the battle step, if this card's being attacked, you can negate the attack, which essentially just means your opponent attacks, so you can just negate the attack at all times. And then its last effect is if it's attacked when it has no materials, you can target 2 monsters. You can take 2 monsters from your grave and attach them to as materials. I actually don't know if Dyson Sphere targets. Let's see. Okay, yeah, it does target 2 monsters. And then lastly, I play 1 copy of Chaos number 92, Harder's Chaos Dragon, and 1 copy of Chaos number 9, Chaos Dyson Sphere. Harder's Chaos Dragon has the effect of it can't be destroyed in battle. When a monster you control inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you can you can gain life points equal to the damage they took. And then as long as Harder's Dragon is material, it also gains the effect of once per turn you can detach material from this card. Negate the effects of all face-up cards your opponent controls until the end of this turn. And then this activation and effect cannot be negated. And then Chaos Dyson Sphere has the effect of at the start of the damage step, if this card battles an opponent's monster, you can attach that opponent's monster to this card as material. And then once per turn, you can deal 300 points of damage for each material it has. And then Dyson Sphere is a material. You can activate its effect where you can detach any number of materials to then be able to inflict 800 points of damage to your opponent per material. So if it has 5 material, you can inflict 15, and then you can detach all but Dyson Sphere to be able to inflict an additional 3,200. Which in total is 4,700 points of damage. But that's it for my generator deck profile. Any ideas to improve it, other decks be made, or decks like see face each other, feel free to comment down below. Thanks for watching.